The Golden Boot Pod is proud to announce that merchandise is now available. We have everything from t-shirts and hoodies, to hats and beanies, to drinkware, to wearables and blankets. You can find it all under the merchandise tab at thegoldenboot.podbean.com or go directly to thegoldenboot.com. As always, thank you for supporting the Golden Boot Pod.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Welcome back to another edition of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bear. I got Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. I got Daniel D. Williams in the building.
What's up?
Chris supposed to be here. He on the way. He had to stop in by the Blue Stove, something like that. I don't know. But how y'all doing this evening?
Man, I'm good, bro. How y'all doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Doing good. Finally, I'm finally not sharing the space with my grandmother. Finally got my house.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. Glad to be back. South Louisiana, baby.
You heard what he said, y'all. He said South, not Central. So he do all that repping about Central, but you see what he went back to.
Hey, look. You're right.
Bang.
Oh, yeah. My bad. All
right. Tony already started. Tony said he stopped by Crystals. That's funny. That boy's stomach gonna be tore up. But all right. So right now we got the MLB Draft going on. So far, LSU has LSU's Jacob Berry has gone 6 overall to the Miami Marlins. So congratulations to him. All eyes are on the incoming freshmen to see if they get picked up and hopefully can make it back. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But fellas, let's start off with recruiting. LSU staff has not stopped. They have been ongoing. This week, we got a commitment from, what's the kid's name, the offensive lineman, Mobanga?
Yeah, from Georgia.
Mobanga. And then also a 2024 pickup in JoJo Stone. So that was good. Also, let's not forget, Caleb Jackson committed on Tuesday as well. So the staff is in full go. Brad Davis is just getting warmed up. I expect a few more. What about y'all?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited about JoJo Stone. Is reason why I'm mostly excited about him is just because of his athletic ability, and we haven't had too many people with the shiftiness in a while. So I'm really excited about him, and man, I'm just glad the fireworks are continuing, and the staff is really they're doing their thing. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Pooh. I like what Brad Davis has started getting the ball rolling on what he's going to do for this class. And I think when you look at what DeSantis and Tyree Adams and of course Lance Hurd, I think that Brad Davis, like you say, just getting started, and I think he about to heat up real quick.
Speaking of heating up, fresh off a run with the hot sign on. Oh man, Chris. We told him you was on the
What's
way.
up, guys?
Somebody said
What's up, my
you.
guy?
I said you stopped by Blue Stove. Tony said you stopped by Crystals. So.
Oh man, y'all doing
That
good
boy
today?
stopped by Meshes.
That boy stopped and got him 2 oatmeal pies.
Oh,
My bad. Star Crunch.
Star Crunch.
My bad.
Yeah.
Star Crunch. My
Star
bad.
Crunch, bro.
Oh Lord.
Hey,
Oh
hey,
Lord.
Pooh, them hit the spot. Them hit the spot about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Nick Saban.
1 o'clock in the morning, Chris.
Chris, didn't
That's
you get on?
Daniel, don't say nothing, bro.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Hold up. Do y'all remember that day
I
I
ain't say
said
that.
something about Wendy's strawberry frosty? And Chris said it's too late to be eating that kind of stuff. But he talking about eating Little Debbie's at 1 o'clock in the
At 1
morning.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Then the
I
other
don't
night,
think it's bad. Little bitty ones they make.
Man, the other night he was on Spaces talking about how that Star Crunch got his heart and the chest hurt and all that. The next night he over there eating another one. Like, boy, you don't learn, do you?
Man, I'm drinking water today. I'm healthy.
Hey,
That's all I'm doing.
Hey, look, he healthy. Looking like little Miss Debbie nephew. I see.
All right. So back to what we were talking about, Chris. We were talking about recruiting, how everything's picked up. One thing we've seen a change this year in recruiting. What is something that y'all think has sparked this change in the recruiting?
I think it's not just obviously it's the staff, but not just the position coaches and having Jamar Kane and Den Brock who recruit nationally, but you got the Joe Sloan, Frank Wilsons who know how to recruit the state, but you also got guys on the shadow staff, if you want to call it that, like Sherman Wilson and J.R. Belton and Jordan Arsenal and Patrick Hill, all these different guys who don't really get the credit, that. And except for whenever somebody comes out and says, "Hey, shout out to Sherman." Like whenever you have a player say, "Hey, shout out to Sherman" or "Shout out to J.R. Belton" or whatever the case. Most of the times we kind of overlook them and they are the unsung heroes of it. But I think all those people are really the ones who are doing behind the scenes, really making pulling the strings to make the things happen.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, Emery Jones will be joining us later on about 7:55, and the Hughes family will be joining us about 8:20. And the reason I brought that up or mentioned those because Ms. Hughes actually talked about it in space one night. Dr. Arnold, he was key and instrumental in Jeremiah Hughes' commitment. So that's something else when you mention the shadow staff. So
yeah. I think a lot of it has to do too. It seems like they have a plan. And sometimes, you can get that plan in motion, but it does take time for it actually to come through. And I guess right now what we're seeing is all the hard work and preparation that that the coaching staff put through is now seeing it come through fruition. So, as an LSU fan, I mean, how can you not be excited about getting 12 plus recruits in the last 2 weeks committed? We're rolling.
And Miss Peggy rightly pointed out, Destiny Wilson as well. So definitely can't forget about her. Go ahead. No, I was just
go ahead. Chris, what you got, man?
On recruiting?
Yeah.
I just really think we just got a staff full of good recruiters. Where it's looking, they recruit national. I don't remember a time we recruited national like this. Like only one Louisiana player on the whole commit list, man.
You got three now. You got Trey, Stamps, and then Caleb Jackson. So you got but for the longest you only had one.
Yeah, for the longest we had one. I forgot about Stamps and Trey Holler. I knew Trey Holler. I forgot about Stamps and the guy Caleb Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, it just seems like we got a good staff that's going to recruit nationally and they're going to build a team like a solid.
Well, let me ask you this though.
We got too many receivers or too many,
Let me ask you this: when the last time have we seen a staff that's coached, across the country? because under O and under Les, for the most part, they wanted SEC coach. You know what I mean? Like they wanted guys who coached in the SEC or who had that SEC experience.
Right.
Right.
No, honestly, I think it's a real good thing to have coaches that are not familiar with our landscape, but also you do have guys like Coach Hankton, Coach Frank Wilson that have coached in the SEC, and they do have Louisiana strong ties too, to where you can go in the state and still get some of those top recruits. But not only that, you can go to Minnesota, go to Cali, you know what I'm saying, to get top talent in the state. Exactly.
Vegas.
So, I mean, that's only a benefit for you to have those well-rounded guys. And I would say, I mean, let me ask you guys this. Of course, we don't have a quarterback committed. Who do you guys think we're getting, if we get one?
If we get a quarterback, it's going to be Ricky Collins, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, probably is going to be Ricky.
Gotcha.
Most likely.
Now, some would say Ricky Collins is probably better than the number one quarterback in the state.
I can't go that far.
Okay. Hey, do y'all think hosting decommits since Bama got a extra quarterback?
I don't.
Even if he does, I don't think he's coming to LSU.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Oh no, go ahead, decommit and come to LSU. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him.
All right. So something else that happened this week. Current player, they started showing off their new numbers and stuff, or the numbers they'll be having for this year. And Kayshon Boutte is the new number 7 for this year.
Worried that he didn't go to SEC Media Days. That just proved right there. He's still in good standing with the team. He got the 7. You know what I mean?
And I think also, like, if you're wondering why Kayshon Boutte is not going to media days, you probably don't understand who this guy is as a person. I don't think he's that, I don't think he's one of those guys who wants to be in front of the camera much.
Agreed.
I don't think him not going to media days is a big deal.
Well, I agree with you 100% on, like, his personality and demeanor isn't, that outgoing type. Like, he's more of that, like, Kawhi Leonard type of guy. The way he just wants to play ball. But
I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Not only that, but if you look at it from Brian Kelly's standpoint, if you look at it from BK's standpoint, why would you want Boutte going in front of the media and having questions about him hitting the transfer portal and all this kind of stuff, adding unnecessary distractions, to the team? So I think it's a smart decision for him not to go.
Mr. Blake, should I know this? Asked Chris last week.
Hey, but look, let me ask you guys this: if you're Gordon McCormick and you kind of want Boutte to go, huh?
Not necessarily. I mean, Gordon McKernan don't want nothing. You don't want nothing to put a black cloud over Boutte in a sense. You know what I mean? And
Makes
so
sense.
if Boutte goes and they start bombarding him with all these, well, were you really going to transfer? Was it going to be Alabama? And all these, and he messes up and says the wrong thing, then it's all going to be negative publicity around him. And that ain't really what you want. And as for your investment.
Right, I agree 100%.
All right, so we know Kayshon is this year's number 7. Got a question for you. Top 3 number 7s at LSU.
This tougher than you think.
Hey, number 1 for me. Go ahead.
1, Tyrann Matthew. 2, Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
3, Leonard Fournette.
Hey, we got to put this in a poll too. So number one for me is going to be Ali Highsmith. Number 1. Number 2 is going to be Leonard Fournette, and number 3, the hometown hero DJ Chark. Yeah.
Boy, I knew you had to be different.
All right, I'm gonna go Tyrann number 1, Fournette number 2, Patrick Peterson number 3.
Oh man, so
we ain't no faces. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say nothing.
What I do, Chris? What I do?
We gonna argue later tonight, bro.
Because I put Patrick Peterson number 3.
All right.
It was hard for me to put Patrick Peterson 2.
It was. I mean, but Fournette. I mean, but you got. I think a lot of us, look back at Fournette because he didn't win the Heisman and all that. Like, if you gotta remember what that man did, bro.
Man,
like,
that was a man, bro.
So all right, my 3. All right, number 1, it's gonna be Jonathan Giles. Number 2, it's gonna be Jacoby Stevens, and number 3, Jamar Chase.
This guy.
Y'all don't like my 3?
Are you doing the opposite?
You should have put Derek Stingley on that end.
Right.
Hey, but no, seriously.
See, that's my list, Tony. That's my list right there, Tony.
Tony, man, you gonna have a word too.
Hey,
that's so obvious. Go ahead.
I have to say Pat Pete. Pat Pete was, first of all, he's unintentionally started the number 7 tradition.
That's true.
Yeah.
Pat Pete.
Unintentional. Ali Highsmith.
That's very true.
Ali Highsmith didn't start it, bro. I don't think he started. Ali Highsmith was a beast. He deserved a mention.
I'll say for the argument,
he was the first number 7 though.
For argument's sake, he was, but that he did not start that
cold.
tradition. And I completely agree.
Technically,
there was somebody that played.
Matthews started the tradition. Technically,
Patrick Peterson started it.
No, Tyron started it because he wanted it because Patrick had it.
Yeah, and that's why I said unintentionally Patrick Peterson started it. So I have to say Pat Pete, Tyron, because if not for what RG3 did, with Baylor that season, we would have had the second defensive, the latest defensive Heisman winner, from LSU. But then you got, what Fournette did in honestly that 1 year was phenomenal.
Bro.
So,
yeah. Honestly, if he don't have a bad game versus Bama, he won the Heisman that year.
I was just about to say that.
Listen.
Besides that Alabama game, bro, Fournette was flawless.
Dude, if you look at it, do you know how many times Fournette almost broke the rushing, the single game rushing record? He got pulled in the 4th, in the 3rd against Auburn. He did not play the second half or the 4th quarter against Eastern Michigan. They pulled him against Syracuse. The game against McNeese got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. That game got canceled, and he still had 1,900 yards, almost 2,000 yards. And he was missing a game, and Derrick Henry got 2,000 with 4 extra games.
Yeah.
So,
what I'm saying.
That Auburn game was iconic, bro. Where he ran that ball like that.
Ole Miss too. Ole Miss, he was punishing people.
All right, we got Emery Jones coming up in about 5 minutes.
Man, that Auburn run was beautiful. It's like a work of art.
So speaking of numbers, Pooh, what the poll looking like?
Thank you for reminding me. We did a poll this week, the People's Pulse of the Week. And we did a poll asking on offense and defense, who you think should be the number 18. And this is what you guys said. So for the Pulse of the People poll of the week on the offensive side, who should be the number 18? You had Jeray Jenkins winning with 38%. Miles Brennan in second with 31.3%. John Emery with 25.7%. And other at 5%. On the defensive side, you had Ali Gay with 40.6%. Mike Jones Jr., who?
Mike Jones.
With 34.4%. Jay Ward with 20.6%. And other is 4.4%.
Oh, wow.
So 2 transfers leading on defense.
Hey, can you drop that tag by the unnamed producer? The views that are expressed.
So
I should say OG Larry should get it.
That's what most people in the
which
other,
is where I was getting. Yeah, the other for defense.
But he's not a senior though.
Who had 18 has never necessarily been a senior. Tre'Davious White had it for 2 years. He was a junior.
Yeah.
You sure? I think he had it one.
He had it for 2 years. He came back. Damone Clark had it for 2 years. He got it as a no, he was a red shirt though, if I'm not mistaken. It was, but yeah, he had it for 2 years. It's not necessarily just a senior. It's been
man. Either way, I like my boy Allie Gay. Y'all know I'm Allie Gay's #1 fan. Me and Miss Payton.
We never had a transfer to Word though, man.
Yeah, we have not had a transfer to Word. I've been saying all the time that so I think Mike Jones and now even Allie Gay definitely both.
It definitely could be Mike Jones too, though.
What about since a transfer never had it? What about Jay Ward? I mean,
he's not a transfer.
He's not a transfer.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's true.
Since the transfers never had it, let's keep the tradition of giving it to guys who started here. Give it to Jay.
But
Ward.
you got to give it to guys that been. No.
Yeah, I think Jay Ward.
No, not necessarily, dog. Because John David Moore had it, and no, not John David Moore.
Fullback? I was about to say what?
Yeah,
no, you had
somebody.
He was a place kicker.
No,
Foster Moreau.
Foster Moreau, yeah, he had
Foster Moreau. Yeah. You've had Richard Murphy had it.
Yep.
Lamine Barrow. I'm trying to think. Now that one started with Matt Mock. Hester.
Hester. John David Moore did have number 18. The fullback. He did. I thought he did. He had it for 1 year too. So that's what I'm saying. It ain't necessarily.
Matter of fact, he had it with Lockature.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brandon. Yeah, Brandon and Ty McGee. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we had 3 Franktown guys had it. 3 Franktown guys.
Yep. Brandon Taylor.
Hey, it'd be nice to have
who's the third? McGee, Taylor. Who's the third?
Franktown guys on.
Chris.
Yeah, we had a couple guys from up this way have it.
Yeah, who's the third one? Chris. Oh, there's only 2. Okay. Yes, Hester did have it.
Terrence McGee.
DK. Oh, that's DK. DK. What up, man?
Hey,
but yeah.
So who's y'all's favorite number 18 out of all those guys?
Tre'Davious White.
Mine, Trey White.
Trey White. I'm going my boy Hester.
Trey White. How many 18s went first round?
I'm gonna say Matt Mock was my favorite.
Trey
Really?
Trey White.
He's a dentist now, so Dr. Mock.
Besides Trey White.
I don't know if another one did. Hey, we got Emery in though.
Yeah, we wait. No, he's ready. Emery, you ready? You ready to give us a thumbs up if you're ready? All right, all good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing back to the Golden Boot our man, Jones Proud, Mr. Emery Jones. Welcome back to the Golden Boot.
Thank you for having me.
Good.
Ooh, that boy getting the waves. I see.
You gotta get right.
Hey, let me ask real quick, Emery. I don't mean to interrupt, but I feel like this is a very important question. Do you still use the orange can, bro?
Nah, that's too big. I use can too.
Oh,
hey, he trying to be like me, Dan. He trying to be like me, boy.
Boy, you can't even see nothing over there.
Chris,
Can't even see nothing over there.
Chris, I have never seen hair have rolls.
Chris got rolls on his head.
Chris said, my do-rag work. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Hey, Chris looked like he had dreads.
Tidal waves.
That's funny.
I got a few.
All right. Hey, Emery, if you would turn your phone sideways for us and get a better picture.
Yeah, man.
Uh-oh.
Look at Pooh mess. You messing up the feng shui.
There we go.
You started. You came in here not doing right, but Emery, last time we had you on, you were just getting on campus and stuff. Still getting how are you adjusting to college life? I know we've talked a few times, and I know first thing is that schedule. So, other than that, how's everything going?
Not just been maintaining, trying to stay consistent. I think I got to the schedule. I got like accustomed to it now. So it just kind of been staying consistent, making sure I'm not late to nothing, making sure I'm 5 minutes late. Just trying to stay on top of my game, really. So it ain't been bad at all.
Gotcha. Now, my next question. How is your mama adjusting to you not being at home? Because I know that's, it's adjustment for everybody in the family.
Yeah, it's been kind of, I don't know, it's been kind of weird, when I go to the house now, my little sister got my room. So it's a little weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But
hey, she ain't even wait, man.
But she ain't wait no long.
She waited not even 24 hours to start moving her stuff into my room.
Oh, man.
Hey, she was
I moved out, the day she moved in.
All right.
She was ready.
All right. For LSU fans, Justin Crawford, the commit for LSU, just got picked in the first round by the Phillies. So, congratulations to him. Don't think we'll see him on campus. But all right. But back to where we are here. So.
But Emery, I can definitely relate, man. My first week on campus, I came back to my mom's house, stayed 15 minutes away, and all my stuff was moved out, bro. They turned it into a study room, and I was like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, man, you forgot me already? But nah, man, I get it.
Yeah.
So what's the thing that took the longest for you to get used to when it comes to like adjusting to your schedule and stuff?
I ain't gonna lie, the hardest part been getting up in the morning, like getting up every morning at like 6:20, 6:30. It's a little, especially after like you had a hard day at work and you about to get into another long full packed day. It just, I don't know, it's a little hard, but that's been the only struggle so far.
And don't worry, hey, it's hard when you get our age too. Don't worry.
Yes, it is. I will say this though: 21 days. You do anything for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Yeah. You're gonna stop saying. All of a sudden, you're gonna forget to set your alarm clock, and you're gonna be up 5 minutes before it's time to go, and be like, "What is going on?" So,
Emery, I would definitely say that rule works, but whenever it comes to 8 a.m. classes, that rule does not work, okay? Hey, do not schedule no 8 a.m. classes. I'm just full ruining it.
He probably
I don't know if you guys have told you.
Yeah, they said our schedule's for us.
Oh, dang. This 8 a.m. is a beast.
But they be looking out though, like they'll make sure we got like at least 30 to 45 minutes between classes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
look free time.
Just make sure you don't get something like music appreciation at 8 a.m., bro.
Oh yeah,
dude, that'd be the best classes.
Listen, my freshman year,
for a nap.
Hey, my freshman year, I had Chem 1 at 8 a.m. The next semester, I had Chem 1 at 12 at 12 o'clock.
Straight up.
Hey, same professor.
Yeah, same professor. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. Yeah. So it wasn't so much that shots. It wasn't so much that I didn't know the material. I just wasn't. Not at that.
It's all right, man. No. We all know you took that class 4 times. Hey, but Emery, man, walk us through like a normal day for you. You know what I'm saying? I know it's summertime. You're not completely in your. Well, are you taking summer classes?
Yeah, I've been taking. The first class I took was a budgeting class, and it just teaching us how to handle our money. Make budgets, stuff like that. Just understanding the importance of making your budget and just being able to maintain your money. And then the second class I'm taking is a introduction to study habits class. So it is kind of teaching us like the importance of studying and like kind of the best ways to do it, and like teaching you different ways so you can find your best way. So that's the 2 classes I took so far.
Have you decided on a major yet?
I think I'm gonna do sports administration, and then when I'm finished with football, probably come back and do engineering because LSU they pay for our school if we want to come back. So probably gonna do
that. That's stuff that people don't know.
Yeah, that's what's up right there.
Hey, and also Emery with that budget class, that's I'm pretty sure if I'm not wrong, your main goal is to go pro, right? One day.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir.
So how it like with that budgeting class, is that kind of LSU kind of pushing you guys toward to take that class, or is that something that you chose to take?
That's something that I mean, it was like we had like maybe 9 or 10 people that came in with it, or actually like 13, maybe like 6 or 7 of us were taking that class. So I think you had either a choice between that theater and a public speaking, and we all ended up taking the same classes our freshman year. So what they didn't take, so if they didn't take the budgeting class, they gonna have to take it, in the semester or something like that. So I think they is
Either way,
pushing
you
it, and
get
I
it.
think they know that. Yeah, you get the important, they get the the point across of how to save their money. So.
That's good stuff, man. That's important.
Well, you want the Catholic high. I know you're going to pass everything, bro.
For sure.
All right.
Definitely.
So Emery, we started off talking about recruiting and stuff. If you would, can you take us through your recruiting process? Some of the things that you when you were looking for a school, what were you looking at?
Personally, like me and my mom, we had made a list of kind of what we was looking for because I was talking to my head coach at the time, Coach Gabe Fatita, who's now at Florida State. He was talking to us when the process first started for us, and he was just telling, he told us like make a board of telling like your most important, make a list of your most important things you're looking for in the college, and we made that list, and the first thing was like a family, like did a vibe feel? Do you get a family vibe from the environment? So going through different schools, I got that here and there, and I could kind of, when we were going out to players, I could kind of see if they were distant or not. So that was just like the biggest thing to us is like having that family feel. So if I was to go out of state or something like that, would I be all right, with the guys that I'm around? So that was the most important thing.
What all did you visit during your process?
Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida State, and LSU.
Good schools, all good schools.
Excellent schools.
Yeah.
Hey, and Emery, we know, but we know football everywhere. It's football. Football is football.
Right.
But you stressed that family really stuck out to you, and we hear even from speaking with Jacoby last weekend and speaking with other recruits that are being recruited by LSU, they talk about the family atmosphere. How important does Coach Kelly stress that?
I think he stressed that. A lot. I feel like, with just walking around, he gives that, that I'm not gonna say father standpoint in the room, but like he just gives that like, you respect him and you respect everyone around, and just like it's understood to respect everyone around. Like it's a big family environment. Whenever we go to Coach Kelly's house, we go sit down on the couch and play, PS4. So it just I don't know. He gives a big family vibe. Guy, he gives that impression.
I love it. And you said PS4. I think you need to tell Coach you need PS5. he tell me you need to upgrade, man.
Yeah, he do.
He put all that money in that Tesla, man.
Yeah, that thing nice.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Pooh. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say outside of football,
I
what
got
are some
one,
things that? Okay. You want to go, Chris?
Go ahead.
I think I got a little delay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Emery, outside of football, what are some things that you like to do just to relax or just take your mind off everything?
My favorite thing to do is to go out to the country and go fish. I'll go like offshore fishing. Like I don't know, something about being in a boat or being like around water just calm me down. So whenever I feel like it's a pressure moment coming up, or like weather before the storm, like if I feel like I need to calm myself before stuff get hectic, I go fishing, and just to cool my mind down and get in a good spot.
Bet. Look, and Emery, let me say something real quick. Normally they call me petty, and this time I am gonna be a little petty. But Chris says that he's an excellent fisherman, right? So what? I mean, who's the best? Of course, y'all haven't fished together, but I mean, Chris always talk about fishing, man.
I got the.
I don't know.
I got the experience.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm older, so
I'm gonna catch more fish either way.
Look like what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to set this up. We're gonna have to get Chris and Emery fishing together. Let's see who can catch the biggest bass, who catch the most, and all that kind of stuff. We just gonna have to settle this, man. And Chris, you're gonna have to let him use your ride, bro.
Hey,
I bring a ride for the competition.
No private lake.
Okay.
Only public lake.
We got. Do we have a fish off? Do we have?
What's your personal best, Emery? What's your personal best bet?
What'd you say?
What's your personal best bet?
7.5. 7.5.
Yeah. You almost got me. You almost got me. Need 2 more pounds.
What's yours?
9.
Oh, I don't know. I need some proof.
I'm gonna inbox you.
I got a question for you though, Emery. On Spaces, whenever we had you and Jacobian on, you said you're trying to start being more involved with the community and stuff like that. How did you get started? And get service and stuff like that.
Well, they got this thing that they doing at LSU, and it's called like the Big Buddy Program. And I don't know, it's a big thing around like Baton Rouge area. I know I heard of it a lot coming up, but it's pretty much kids, who need help getting on the right track or just need help in general. And I've been writing note cards to them every week, every week and a half, just writing notes like motivation and like kind of just telling my story a little bit on the note card and just, telling them they can push through anything and everything. And I'm also going to some kids camp later this month with the South Baton Rouge Rams, going back into the community that I came up in and just going to help them out and get them motivation and work out with them a little bit.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Seems like we getting guys that has that character now that BK here, with good character and can play football and smart. We ain't got to worry about nobody, missing no games due to academics or, trouble on the news. They're doing good stuff like Trey Holly.
That's been a big thing.
That's good.
Hey, we do have a question for you. Ask Emery, do you prefer playing left guard or right guard?
Honestly, I like the right side a little better just because I feel more natural. I played left tackle junior and senior year, but I don't know. I learned the position at right side, so I guess I'm just more, I feel more natural on the right side.
Right. Now, Emery, also, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I guess that question should say, do you prefer starting at left guard or right guard? But I think you've answered it.
Now, Emery, you played tackle in high school, right?
Yes, sir.
So, to the people who don't know the difference between the left guard and the tackle, you know what I'm saying? Now, what's the difference?
I would say between tackle and guard is at tackle you're playing the more athletic guys, more faster guys, more leaner. And then inside when you go to guard, you're playing more like bigger, people who are gonna stop the run up the middle. You're looking at bigger, stronger dudes, like Tank. He was on the show. Tank, you're looking at guys like Tank and stuff like that. And at tackle, you're looking at people who play more like athletic, slimmer guys like BJ and guys like him. So that's the major difference.
So is it more of like whenever you're playing tackle, it's a finesse game, and then whenever you're playing guard, it's you kind of be a little bully a little bit,
Yeah, I don't know. The reason I like playing inside is because you don't gotta like run after people too much. Like I ain't gotta go try to kick set to stop a dude run a 4-3.
You like being in that phone booth, huh?
Yeah.
I guess.
Hey, Emery, we got another one from the chat. It says, ask Emery, how do you guys talk internally about being underestimated when predicted to win only 6 or 7 games?
Good question.
Honestly, being truthful, no guy in the locker room talked about that. I think we got a big strong bubble going right now, and we know what our goal is in the intern, and we ain't really looking into the media. Nobody like coming to the room talking about like, oh, this prediction said this or this ranking got this, or we don't have a guy who's going to the draft next year talking about how I'm gonna be this high on the draft boards or nothing like that. Like it's really like a family vibe right now, and I really feel like that's gonna take us far.
You said y'all just kind of focusing on the team goals and stuff like that. Well, what are some of your personal goals for next year and next season?
You talking about personal goals for me or for the team?
For you.
I definitely want freshman All-American. That's been my biggest goal. Since I got the offer and committed, my goal instantly went on to being freshman All-American and just you get that freshman All-American spot, you lock yourself in as a top player. So if I lock that in and then I got 2 more years to just, build on that, then I feel like I gotta, I'm gonna be looking good coming out.
And what's some of the goals for the team?
Definitely a national championship. Some O-line, some room guys. We came up with a goal, and that was to get elite sacks up in SEC. So that's what we're going for.
I like it.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
I want to bring it back to recruiting right quick, Emery. You ultimately picked LSU. If it wasn't LSU, who would have been?
If it wasn't LSU, it probably would have been Arkansas, Florida State. And Arkansas, because I don't know, Arkansas it was right here and here when it came to family vibe with Arkansas and LSU. And Coach Davis was a big recruiting guy, but the week that I had my visit set for Arkansas, he was leaving out to come to LSU. So it really forced me to meet a whole new staff and kind of just really get to know some people that I hadn't got to know before that visit. So that's why I ended up liking Arkansas so much. And Florida State Coach Atkins was my guy. That's Coach Fertitta, best friend, and just talking to him, Coach Fertitta trusted him a lot. I like Florida State. I like Coach Atkins, and I know he's one of the best in the business right now. So it was definitely out of Arkansas, Florida State.
Let me ask you this: on your visits, what was the thing that was the most jaw dropping to you on any of your visits?
Not gonna lie, when I went to Arkansas, on the last day we went to Coach Pittman's house, and that was just Coach Norvell house was really nicer, but like the area Coach Pitt house is in, it was it went from being in the town of Arkansas to a little desert area around the town, and it was just a real nice house. They had a big old pool house, stuff like that. So that was the most jaw dropping, just to see his house.
I got you.
Hey, Emery, let me ask you a quick question. Did Florida State, did they try to feed you any of that honey barbecue chicken?
Nah.
I hear that stuff is Medusa, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. They didn't feed it to him because if he did, he would have committed like Marvin Wilson did.
Love it, man.
Hey,
Another
Emery, we're
thing with recruiting. So,
go ahead.
I'm
Chris.
sorry, Pooh.
No, you
one more thing with recruiting. Was being from Louisiana a big part of you staying home at LSU? Was that a big, big thing for you?
I ain't gonna lie. I think that's what kept LSU as my number one spot, throughout the whole process. Just because, when I got the off field, it was a big thing around town. Everybody coming up to me. I'm going to the gas station, people talking to me, stuff like that. So I just knew I was gonna be playing for the town, and it wasn't just me. It wasn't just for my family. It's for the people around here. My Cali High community. It was for all them. So yeah, I would definitely say that was a big part. And then just being able to, stay home and be a role model to my little nieces and nephews and my little sisters. It just, I don't know, being close to them is gonna be way easier to play that role for them. So that was a big thing for me.
Let me ask you this: how much are you recruiting the next class and some of the guys you play with at Catholic or some of the guys you met through camps or stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm recruiting Sheldon hard. Sheldon went to Bama. And he said he liked Bama, and I was like, we ain't even gonna play it. We ain't even gonna play around with him like that. So I've been recruiting Sheldon. Just the running back from Liberty, Caleb. I was recruiting him a little bit. Just seeing him around. Telling him, come home, stay home. This is the place to be. Stuff like that. So I definitely think, I try to the guys close to me, who grew up in the same area as me. I try to recruit them a little harder just because I know how important it is to, come and play for, what you've been looking up to.
So you telling me you finna go 2 for 2? That's what you're saying?
For sure.
2 for 2.
All right,
Emery, I got one more for you. And then we'll let you go. I think this is actually your question. I'm gonna steal it.
Go ahead.
What's the main thing that you've tried to improve this offseason?
My main thing has been my pass set. Coming in, I know I can come and run block anybody. Coach Davis know that. I feel like we We both on the same page when it comes to that. But I think coming in, we both knew that I needed to work on my passion a little bit. So been working on it, and I think I'm getting way better. He been, telling me that I'm looking good now. So that's been a big thing that I was working on is my pass set, like getting my shoulder, just all the little things in the pass set that you need for playing in this high level. He's just been fixing stuff like that. So that's what it is.
So you saying we can count on you to be starting week 1?
I'll be in the game for week 1. I don't know if I'm starting yet. I don't know. By week 3, I'll be starting for sure.
Okay.
I like it.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
As always, Emery, listen, thank you for coming through. I appreciate, Let me throw this up there first. Give me 1 second. Boom. Emery Jones 68. That is his Twitter handle. Ladies and gentlemen, go follow him. Give him all that love he deserves. Hey, next 3 to 4. You know what I'm saying? A lot of All-Americans gonna be on that list. So y'all need to jump on it now. He might I ain't saying he will. He might follow you back now. When he get to a few thousand, don't try to jump on it.
He gonna be like Mike Jones.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead and plug. Go ahead and plug that camp again one more time, though, bro.
Yeah. For you, Emery.
Your camp that you gonna be hosting. Go ahead and let everybody know about it again.
It's gonna be a camp for the South Baton Rouge Rams. We're gonna go out there, help and support them. So, y'all come tune in.
All right, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you again, Emery. It has been a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, our man Emery Jones. Thank you again. All right, fellas.
Hey, and you know what, man? I can actually, looking at his picture, I can see the waves. You know what I'm saying? In his picture, in his graphics. So man, I like that.
Killing me. All right, well, y'all ready? Let's roll into the next one. See,
let's do it.
Let's go.
I think we all been kind of looking forward to this for a week or so.
This the one right here.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to bring to you the Hughes family, Mr. and Mrs. Hughes.
Yeah.
From right now, Vegas. Welcome to the Golden Boot. All right. First off, good evening, afternoon, in your afternoon, evening, however you want to. Almost good night.
Almost evening. We'll take it.
Yeah. How y'all doing this evening?
We're doing good. Doing good.
Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes. First off, let me say congratulations with the commitment and everything. It's not on, and I told y'all when we talked, I said there may be a spinoff question. One thing I don't think I have on here. How did it feel that Jeremiah chose your anniversary as the date to commit?
Oh wow! I mean, for us, it was really special. I mean, it's our 15th year anniversary. I mean, the fact that he wanted to share it on our day, that was pretty big for us. I mean, and in all honesty, what most people don't know is he was going to wait to commit in August, and he moved it up after the visit. So that lets me know that he was like, I already know where I want to be. This is a great day. The anniversary is coming up. Let's do it on that day. And I was like, hey, sounds good. Whatever works for you.
It's awesome. And happy and belated anniversary to y'all, by the way, also.
Thank you.
And Nurse Court says hello, Miss Ninja.
Hey, Nurse Court.
All right. One of the first things, and I'm asking this personally because I have a son he's going upcoming junior this year. As a parent, what were some of the things that you were looking for in your college choice? Because I know it's not just Jeremiah's choice; it's also y'all's choice as well. So, as parents, what were some things that y'all were looking for?
Well, I will say, Lorenzo allowed me to kind of take the reins, a little bit more in the recruiting process. So most of those things, I kind of was involved in, and doing the investigating, seeing what's the right fit. But I have to stop you really more than anything. It's not my choice. It's his choice. I can't go in it thinking it's my choice. I don't have to go to school there. I don't have to live there. I don't have to see what the community is like. It really was his choice. And we went into this process and we all agreed that when he knew, he knew. And we took him wherever he wanted to go. That was our job, to take him wherever he wanted to go. And believe me, we went everywhere. But in the end, it was his choice, and we made the decision that really that was on him. So I have to stop you there. But before you go into that, it has to be your son's choice.
Yeah.
But as far as what we were looking for is a place that he was going to be comfortable with, that he felt like he could grow, that he could go to the next level, and that the coach really saw him, not just stars or, but that he could be developed. You got a lot of 4 or 5 stars that are out there, but, I always say, well, if you're a 4 or 5 star already, how much more developing can you really do? So, as we all know, we hear Jeremiah being labeled a 3-star, but, that means it's some things he can do, and is willing to learn. And so who's going to develop him at the next level and really get him there? And so those were the things that I could say that were really important. What you think?
Well, being a man, I want my son to be respected. That's the first thing men want. We want respect. And I also want him to be around a role model, men that's going to mentor him and take him through that journey to become a man. He's a male, but that man journey that requires a little bit more than just being just a male. And then I want him to find something that he loves. Football is his love. And sometimes when you go to school, when you go to college, you have to find your next love. Football has been his love for a long time. And then, so when I talked to Brian Kelly, he was more into tangible things, accountability, responsibility, principles, that kind of stuff. That really builds a man. So people are already putting his eyes on tangible things. But I need somebody to put his eyes on accountability, responsibility, principles. And I felt like that's what was going on at LSU.
Let me ask you this: how did y'all narrow down your schools to know which ones y'all are going to take visits to?
As I said, Jeremiah narrowed them down. I mean, this really was. I mean, Jeremiah had like 18, 19 offers, and if I had to say one thing that I definitely thought that Jeremiah didn't want to be is anywhere cold. I think it didn't want to be anywhere cold. Even though Arkansas has some cold weather, I think he would have dealt with it there. But I don't think he really wanted to be anywhere really, really cold. I think for him more than anything, it was about relationships. I mean, I've been saying that. How many times have I been talking about that? And it's the coaches that really were talking to him about, things other than football. There's the same things that Lorenzo was just talking about. One of the things that you all may not know about Coach Steeples that really impressed me the first time he talked to us, because literally a lot of coaches offered Jeremiah. It was only a few that actually talked to us. I can only tell you there's a handful that actually picked up the phone and said, hey, we want to talk to you. Right. Steeples offered Jeremiah. The next day he was talking to us. It's only a few coaches that actually did that, But the thing that impressed us was Steeples is from Ferguson. And those of you guys that know what happened in Ferguson with Mike Brown, went to the high school that Mike Brown went to, it was invested into the community. He spent a lot of time talking to us about that, and he said he spent a lot of time wanting to build, those young people in that community and doing his part in that community to make it better for everybody. That touched me. I'm like, because how many people who would have went to the league and want to come back and coach high school football and want to make a difference like that, that said to me a lot about his character, and he was really, he was really moved by what had happened in his community. And he talked to Jeremiah about that. And when you guys get to learn Jeremiah, Black Lives Matter is very important to Jeremiah. It used to be on his Instagram page a lot. And I think that connection that him and Jeremiah had built off of that and that conversation. But as I said, it was about relationship. If you offered him and you didn't really talk to him that much after that, or you didn't only talk to him about football, or let me also add this, or when you offered him, you were talking to him about other teammates on his team trying to get him. You know, there was some issues there too. He kind of peeked through that. You know, do you really want me? And I think he looked at who saw him, as I said before, who saw him, you know, as an individual, you know, more than, you know, than what the hype was, or just and learning about him as an individual person. And I will add this too, even after he's committed, those relationships are still important. There are a lot of coaches that after Jeremiah committed from other schools, they reached out to Jeremiah, that are still reaching out to Jeremiah, not to recruit him, but because they built a relationship with him and are saying, hey, we're proud of you, we're gonna follow you. We thought you were a good gentleman, not just because you were a recruit, but just because you were a good young man. So those are things that I think that were really important to Jeremiah in this journey, was about relationship.
So I don't hold on, Daniel. Let me say this. The other day when you were in Spaces and we're all in there, I don't know if you noticed the title of our episode is all about relations, because you talked about and it's all about relations, you know, and relationships and stuff. So I just want you to know that you did inspire that as well. So.
Well, I mean, relationships is important. In my inbox that your father attended UAPB. You know, we UAPB graduates. You know, how can I turn that down? You know what I mean?
I immediately talked to him. I said, Dad, this recruits his parents. You know, and so we're trying to get on the show. I said his mom went to UAPB.
Dad too.
Okay. It's and the first thing,
I've been going to UAPB since I was like 5 or 6 years old, in the summer sport programs and everything. When they was Hazard Gymnasium, AM and N.
But
Golden Lions.
Exactly. The first thing he said was "Go Lions," and I was like, "Okay."
They got the Lions on there.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry, I stole you.
No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to say, Mr. Hughes and Mr. Hughes, thank y'all for coming on. But just listening to y'all talk, it looked like you guys. Some people think whenever it comes to recruiting, recruits only make a 4-year decision, but it seemed like this is a lifetime decision. As far as this is a 20 plus 30-year decision, and I mean that's just good to hear. You know, it's not short sighted, but it actually, you know, you guys have a game plan.
Let me piggyback off that and ask you this: what are some of the things that fans like? What are some misconceptions that fans have about recruiting?
This is a big one. As most of you all, I shared in the Spaces, you know, I'm friends with, you know, Dorian Thompson Robinson's mom, you know, the quarterback at UCLA, Brevin Jordan that played in my son. I have friends that are in this process, and we were just having this conversation the other night at dinner. And one of the things that I think is the biggest misconception is that people forget that these are kids.
Yes. Yes.
You know, if my son makes a decision, that doesn't mean he hates Arkansas and he's turning his back on Arkansas, or he don't like Washington, or he don't like Utah or Colorado or some of the other schools that recruited him. And kids they make mistakes. How many of us are adults? We make mistakes and we make choices and we like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. You know,
every day.
Was it the right choice? And a lot of times I see Jeremiah didn't have this. I can say this, he didn't. But I have seen when student athletes make choices, there's a lot of hate that's out there that's directed to the student. And at that time, the student makes the best choice for them. And I think fans sometimes forget these are still kids, and you know, they're going to make mistakes. And at that time, they thought that was the best choice because, and this is the thing, you're not in the side of the recruiting. You may think that, and I'm not going to name a school. You may think that school A is the best choice for this recruit, but you wasn't on visit with school A. You don't know how they treated this student athlete on that visit, you know. So you're not in that process. So I think that's one of the things that I think fans need to know, and that This process is not easy. I can be honest with you. It was a very stressful process for us. I think my blood pressure went up a lot. It is because it is hard to pick. Literally, it is really hard to choose. Especially when you go on these official visits, because everyone is really showing you all the love and everything, and you have to kind of pick between what's real, and are you just showing me love because you're on the visit? How you gonna treat my kid when he leaves the visit? And I'm not saying any of the schools that we didn't choose made us feel that way, but I'm saying through this process, you definitely have to think about that. I don't think fans who aren't going through this process understand. And one last thing that I'll add: why Arkansas and LSU is in particular the defensive coordinators. And I remember in the space that somebody was talking about Barry Odom the other night in this space. But it's one thing I want to share about Barry Odom and Coach House was that they have sons that are going through the process right now. And both of them said, and Barry Odom actually said it to me first, and then Matt House said it when we met him. Now that we are going through the process, we feel like we should have changed some things maybe we've done in the past because we're going through it on our own. Now that we're on the other side of it, we like, did I talk to a recruit different? Oh, did I make a mistake? And I think that's the part that fans may not understand, and even the coaches. So when I heard it from the coaches' side, I was like, now you understand it is a lot different, and how you evaluating talent, and just like and be careful, as I always say, how you talk about recruits. Oh, they're just a 2-star, 3-star. You guys have been in this game a long time. That is all subjective. What those star ratings are. It's all who's laying eyes on them. And you may have a 5-star recruit that is a 2-star that is a label. Just be mindful of that. When that conversation comes up. So those are the main things.
Yeah, I found out that it's not just the coaches that help the parents and help the player make the decision. It's a group effort. I think we're going to see the coach. We're going to see the coach, but it's a lot of people plays a role in helping those recruits make their decisions.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this also. So how do you distinguish? Because of course, whenever you're going into these different campuses and you're meeting these different coaching staffs, you're getting everybody's perfect face, right? You're getting all the best. How do you distinguish what's real and what's a show?
Oh, well,
I'll let him take that one.
It's just like life, you have to deal with your real. Yeah. What you real at? If you real with the streets, then use your street. If you real with the church, then use what God has given you. You have to when it comes to your child, you use everything that's real. You ain't dealing with no phony Maroni. I don't care what you say or how much you laugh. I'm still using my God sense and my discernment and saying, Lord, is this man real? In all my ways, acknowledge him. He would direct my path. I'm using all the Jesus I can use, all the prayer I can use. It's my son, man.
Amen.
And I'm using what she knows is real. And then, I'm seeing for my son to have wisdom. I pray for him to have wisdom. And not just my wisdom, his wisdom, mama to have wisdom, just like going in for a surgery. The coach to have wisdom, and all the people who are playing a role in his life, give him wisdom. Let God reveal to me what's real and what ain't real. I'm praying through all every school I go to. I'm praying before I go there. Hey, this is my son, man. I'm on the real with this one.
I love it.
All right, Chris, I know you had a question before you get ready to go. Go ahead.
How y'all doing, Mrs. and Mrs. Hughes? How y'all doing?
We're great.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question before I got out of here. I heard you talk about the weather, that your son didn't want to go play in the cold up north. I'm guessing. Which one hotter, Las Vegas or Louisiana?
Oh, Vegas. It's what he was just saying. Because let me tell you,
that's some fighting words right there.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, wait a minute. I had to step back because it's hot here right now. We're running like 110 to 113 right now, which is pretty hot. But I will tell you, a couple years ago, and I say about 2018, I was in Houston, and it was just 99. And I swear it was a heat like I had never felt in my life. So
that humidity different.
Yeah, and we lived in Arkansas for 10. I mean, for 10. Well, he lived there all his life, but you know, we were used to the Arkansas humidity. But it's a different kind of heat. But I'm not gonna tell you that it ain't hot here. You know, and I'm not gonna tell you.
It's hot.
Listen, I was so I for my work I go out to Arizona a lot, and it's hot, and it's like 110, 115 hot.
Yeah, Arizona is hotter than Vegas, so that you know that.
So I even deployed. So I former military. I went to Iraq, and it's hot. It's a different kind of heat, but it's still like nothing like Alabama, Louisiana humidity. I don't care what nobody say. It's hot, and I can deal with it. But that humidity, something totally different. That'll break it down.
Thick air, man.
But I will tell you this: when the main difference for those that have never been in dry heat or humidity, humidity is definitely different and will beat you down. But with dry heat, it'll kill you.
It'll kill you.
Yeah.
You know, with a humidity, sweat and your body can try to fight off the heat. You know, I'm not saying you still won't get heat exhaustion and you won't get heat stroke, but a dry heat, if you are not hydrated, because Jeremiah actually had a teammate that went through this at practice, that literally organs almost shut down because of dry heat. It is a totally different type of heat. You just can't play with dry heat because your body doesn't sweat to give you some water to kind of try to replenish itself.
Yeah, it takes you back to the cowboy days, is where the horses die in the desert.
And if I could also add too, now whenever you guys came down for Jeremiah's visit, did you guys try any food here or any? I mean, what were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that was a question. I'm sorry. Yeah,
we had boudin,
had some alligator.
I didn't touch the alligator.
And the oysters.
It tastes like chicken.
It does taste like chicken.
Oh my goodness, them grilled oysters, man! I want some right now.
Oh yeah.
Since we came
I've
back.
been invited out to eat oysters a lot. Hey, let's go eat some oysters and beers. And like, no way. But now, when they say oysters and beers, I said, you talking about grilled oysters? I learned something. Grill those boys. We can eat them.
And I'm a little used to the Louisiana food. My mother is from northern Louisiana, so you know it definitely is.
318, baby.
Yeah, so I'm used to. We used to southern food. You know, it's what I have to get used to with being the southern food. It's a little bit spicier because it's the Creole, you know, which is a little different because I don't eat a lot of spicy food. But I'm really looking forward to going to. It's funny. I was actually telling my friend today. I was looking at the menu at the stadium, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the stadium because I was like, that's gonna be crazy. Some of the food they have."
Let me ask you this. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was gonna say, look, definitely try the jambalaya. Every game, I'm getting the jambalaya. The jambalaya is off the chain.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
It's good.
Jambalaya.
Jam.
I think I need to add one more thing before I get out of here. I want to add one more thing, guys.
Hold on, Chris. We're not gonna let that slide. This man said jambalaya.
You know,
I wasn't gonna let that slide either. I'm like, come on, man.
You know,
I'm in South Louisiana.
You don't get out.
It don't matter. You there, but you saying it wrong.
Hold on. That's all right. I got something perfect for that.
But I'm gonna say one more thing.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm gonna say one more thing. Miss Nikki and Mr. What's your name? I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
Lorenzo.
Mr. Lorenzo. There's a difference. There's a big difference from North Louisiana food and South Louisiana food.
It
That
is.
is true.
It is.
That's true.
Big
That's
deal.
true. That's true. That's true.
Don't go up
Nobody
there and
denying
think
that.
you're gonna get nothing. You go to Lafayette
Well,
if you want something good. Go to Lafayette.
that's right. That's what I meant. But look, I tell you like this. The reason why there's a beef between there's a little line in Louisiana. You got Central Louisiana, you got North Louisiana, you got South
Yeah.
Louisiana.
It's called the
Now,
Boudin line. It's called the
that's
Boudin
right.
line.
I like that.
That's right.
Boudet. I like that.
Like that food.
I
So
like that.
in North Louisiana, you got some people that think they from Texas, and then you got some people that think they from Arkansas. So they have an identity crisis up there every now and then.
No.
You know?
I'm not finna.
That's
Hey,
funny.
I'm finna defend North Louisiana and say South Louisiana always accuse us of being East Texas or South Arkansas or something like that. But whenever they get a commit from up here, they so proud to claim them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Look, my
It's
mother's
all
from
about
Homer.
football here, baby. It's football.
your mother from where?
She's from Homer, which is right outside.
Okay, yeah, I know that.
Right
Yeah,
by Minden.
that ain't far
Yeah.
from me at all. It's about 30 minutes from where
Yeah,
I'm in Monroe, so yeah.
Okay, and we've been to Monroe. We lived in Arkansas, our boys used to run track in Monroe. We used to come down from Arkansas and run track, and so
There you go.
we're familiar with that area. But
Okay,
and I have a niece that said Grambling. I have a niece that's Southern, so we all
Okay,
over.
yeah. I like it. Y'all just coming and taking over the boot, huh?
Hey, my mother says it's ironic that she said for all of her grandkids that never went to visit Louisiana, she has 3 that will be in school in Louisiana, which is crazy.
You can take them out to Louisiana, but you can't take the Louisiana out of them.
For sure, for sure.
Right. So I do want to try to get back something you mentioned. Well, 2 things you mentioned, and somebody asked the question. Let me find it about. They asked, your impressions of Coach Kelly and welcome. Thank y'all for choosing LSU. And then I guess my question is, what about the staff made y'all comfortable? And I know you talked about relationships and stuff.
So I will tell you my impressions of Coach Kelly was, just so that I had told you private, that we had actually went to Notre Dame last summer for a camp. So a lot of people don't realize that Jeremiah was actually being looked at Notre Dame. So this is Brian Kelly has been following Jeremiah really since freshman year, knowing, because his wide receiver coach, when Jeremiah was on the other side of the ball, had been actually following him. And we were invited to the camp last summer. So for me, I always knew, because Jeremiah's DB coach, who is now the GA at LSU, had already kind of told us about Coach Kelly. He was like, he's a brilliant mind. He knows football. He knows how to put people in place, which is, the main thing that a lot of people may not understand. And as I share with you in spaces, is that don't compare him to other people. It may be just he's a different guy. He's a very smart guy, and he kind of runs things like a CEO, and putting people in place. How a business should run. You got to have business can't run if you don't have the right people in place. And I think that is the main thing. And for me, when I go into the staff, I mean, literally from top to bottom, I'm going to be honest with you. They're just professionalism at its finest. I mean, and it goes back to even with Jeremiah's visit. When we came for Jeremiah's visit, I know Jeremiah was looking for something. I can't tell you necessarily what it was, but I guarantee you he found it when we were there. You know what I mean? Personalization was definitely one of it, because they made sure to personalize that visit. I know you guys have seen my picture of the UAPB banner. And I'm like, that was special. I mean, that lets you that and everybody knows Jeremiah's called Jay Smooth. They had the graphic made, of his name, and so that lets you know that they were in tune, and they didn't just do that, the personalization for Jeremiah. Jackson Howard and the other Womack were on our visit too. It was personalization all around. It wasn't just Jeremiah. So that lets you know that they have people on the staff that are paying attention to what these recruits are about, who they are, their personality, and things like that. But as I have to say, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just the coaching staff. It was the recruitment staff, Coach Belton, Pat Hill, Sherman. I mean, I could just tell you, just top notch. Corey, Coach Corey. I mean, these are people that will have a relationship. We just weren't talking to steeples. I mean, these are every last one of these people were talking to us throughout this whole process. But then when we landed on campus and we met Dr. Arnold, and Dr. Arnold was the game changer for me. I mean, and every university that we went to had a director of player personnel. And I think I shouted a lot of them out, that I met some amazing people at the different universities. But Dr. Arnold was the game changer, and he was handpicked by Coach Kelly from a small school because he had a special talent. And I think that as you guys watch LSU in the years coming, you guys will see his impact on this program because of what he brings. I mean, on our visit, he had us writing letters to our son how we felt about the recruiting process. And, that was emotional, I mean, and he was talking to the parents while the players were getting dressed. That was emotional. I was writing and Lorenzo was writing and all the other parents was writing, I'm like, oh my God. And he met with us individually with Jeremiah. That goes a long way, and I think the staff just on a whole different level. I mean, I know you had some thoughts about Coach Kelly.
Oh yeah, when I talked to his staff as we was going through the process, these people, as you can see, most people listen to my wife. I don't have folks walking and say, "Hey, what you got to say there, guy?" I had to me, man. They was asking me, coming back, "Hey, can you finish the story?" And, and I'm talking about religious stuff. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. I'm testifying to the glory of God. And they coming back, listen to me. I like, most people run from that kind of action. And then after I finished talking to this staff in therapy, what's that therapy? Physical therapy or the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
At the training facility where they,
the people he put in place.
Yeah.
And what those people say, when I got into Brian Kelly's office, he just summarized it. He wasn't no big talker. He just validated what they said.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, man. That just shows that Brian Kelly's looking at it more from just a football standpoint. He's taking a holistic viewpoint and trying to mold young men, not just football players.
And as I mentioned in some of my lessons, seeing women involved, as I said, it's very important. I'm a mother. I'm a mother first, recruitment and whatever. But I'm a mother, and I see women involved. And I mean, yeah, I'm sending my son to play football, but there's still a nurturing part to this that is important. And having women being a part of this program is important. But something else I want to mention too that is really important. Everyone knows that Notre Dame is a very is a school that that the grade, you got to have really high level of grades. Yeah. I don't think you guys realize how important grades are going to be to Coach Kelly, and I think that's really important. Is that he's raising the level of expectation. Sometimes you go on these visits and that the school has a certain GPA to get in, and some of these schools will tell you, "Oh, don't worry about that GPA, we'll get them in." I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
That's the red flag for me, because that lets me know, well, what are you going to do when he get there? You just go. That's why I said you just gonna give him some filler classes just to be eligible. And we heard a lot of that conversation when we came in there that was some previous things that occurred. It's not going to be under Coach Kelly, as he said, graduate champions. He means that. When I looked at when we came in and we saw the staff that they put in place to work with those student athletes in the tutoring centers, how they're going to have access to those students' grades, what their class schedules are, assignments they're going to have. That's going to be, they're going to have. Y'all not ready for that. That's going to be something that is, for me, he has parents that have degrees, so that's important to me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But those are things that I know that people don't understand and we don't talk about a lot, but I can guarantee you that level that is going to be required of those student athletes is going to be big when it comes to education. He is going to graduate student athletes through LSU, and and all of that. But they also talked about the plan for if they want to go to the league after 3 years or 3.5 years, whatever, that they'll have a plan for those athletes to still get their degree after they leave while they're in the NFL. He's already set that up. So that's big to me. Those things are huge.
That's major. That's major.
One thing, because we talked about it earlier, you talked about Matt House and Barry Odom going through the process and realizing some of their shortcomings. Not necessarily naming specific schools or coaches, but what are some of the things that coaches get wrong during visits?
Having too many recruits on visits. You know, one is you can't recruit even if you have so many spots available, say 4 or 5, you can't bring 4 because it spreads you out too thin. You know, and you don't get a chance to know your recruits. You know, we went on one visit and you had 4 recruits there for the same position. You didn't, and you can't, and in that same process, what happens is people realize this is also a competition for those spots. So we're on a visit, and you have a parent that's trying to psych us out about not committing to this school because they want their kid to commit to this school, and then in the same process wanted to tell us where our sons, and I'm putting this in quotes, value was at LSU, and I'm like, okay, I'm pulling up my phone because I know the kid's name. I'm not gonna share the kid's name, and I'm looking on the poster that they made at DBU, and I didn't see their kid on that poster, and I'm like, my kid on this poster, so obviously these are the kids that they're recruiting. So that's one of the things I say, having too many recruits on a visit. 1, 2, also not showing people the dorms. We went on a visit, you didn't show me the dorms. I need to know where my kids gonna stay.
Yeah.
You didn't show me the campus. The other thing too that I think is important is LSU did a great job of, we weren't that close to even though this was our set, we did the official visit, but we had also came for an unofficial in April. So we had actually been there twice. Yeah. And because where we stayed, I think it was called the Renaissance. I think that's it. But we were still able to see some of the city. You know, whereas on some visits, and then when we went to Washington, we were downtown, so we were able to see the city. I think you need to let people see a little of what the city offers so that people know where they're leaving their kid. You know, place is it safe? Is it, how much culture do you have? How much diversity do you have? You know, I will give, you know, not to shine some light, but Arkansas, it was very interesting when we were in Arkansas where we stayed, because Northern Arkansas has had a reputation of not being as diverse. But I have to say that the weekend we were there, they were actually having a pride parade right in front of our hotel. And I was like, wow, Arkansas has really changed, you know.
Yeah.
But I was proud to see that, because I was really glad to say, hey, diversity is moving up in this area. So I think it's really important for people to see what the city is like. As I said, the dorms, show me the campus. You know, let me, you know, talk to me about your programs. LSU brought in, when they asked us, a lot of schools will ask you, well, what do you want to major? LSU brought the people in so we could meet the department chairs and professors have breakfast with us. And we, you know, that's classy, you know, because I was able to ask Jeremiah, was able to ask questions. I was able to ask questions. I think that's important. Don't just talk to me about the school, you know, show me, you know, what you can offer in the program. I think, you know, telling me how my child gonna eat as a mother, you know, that's important, you know. What is
shout out to Dr. Freights.
Yeah. He gonna eat good, that's for sure.
Let me tell you, you know, we had a smoothie contest while we was down there, you know. I mean, and there was a few schools that showed us how the kids were going to eat. You know, I wasn't not just giving LSU problems. There was a few that did that, but you need to show parents where your child is going to eat, but also too, you know, what are you going to do? Show me how your staff is outside of football. And so I'll give you an example. I was listening to the young man that just was on, just talking about Coach Kelly in the PS4. Mm-hmm. So the night when we were on the official visit, we had dinner the first night at Coach Kelly's house. Now you got all the recruits out there, and then some of the football players there, you know, and Coach Kelly is out there, some of the other coaches and some of the coaches' wives. And Coach Kelly's pool is sitting there. They were allowing some of the coaches were allowing the recruits to dunk them in the pool. Now, mind you, they weren't dressed to go in the swimming pool. They had on their LSU gear, like, you know, like pants, and they weren't swimming gear, but they were having fun and they were laughing. That allowed these recruits to see, hey, they just regular people. Yeah. You know, and I don't think a lot of times people, we understand this is a business. We get that. Mm-hmm. But I need to know what you are outside of the business. And also, I think there's a couple things that I saw that happened too. I think remember we had the player testimonies. Player testimonies are key. I remember when we were at the University of Arkansas, there was a young man that talked about his mental health. He had left from another school because his mental health was really bad. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and him sharing his story of how he ended up in Arkansas, but how Arkansas supported his mental health was key. And I think because me asking you as a coach, you're not helping. You're not going to answer my question. I need to ask that player. Yeah. And you know, I think those things are very key, and everyone doesn't do that. And so those are the main things for me that I saw that I said, you know, are important to me as I share with people, because other people are asking me still, you know. And then one thing I'll say that didn't happen to us, that actually someone inboxed me after I shared our journey on Twitter, was that be respectful of people's time and money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, we did what we could to make sure that Jeremiah had every opportunity. We took him everywhere. Wherever he said he wanted to go, we took him. No one, and let me add this so people know this for sure. Nobody paid for us to go anywhere. We paid for ourselves. Yeah. You know, we did our own unofficial. No, except for the officials, no one paid for us to go anywhere. We did our own. That has to be said, because y'all know some handlers out there, you know.
Of course. Right.
Yeah, we did our own. But I say that to say that there are a lot of parents that spend a lot of money to get their kids to camps, to get in front of coaches, because they think they have a chance. And I don't think coaches realize some of these are single mothers, single fathers, or low income people that are doing the best that they can. And if you are, and I think I put this on Twitter, you already know who you want, don't have an open camp. Yeah. You know, because some people have traveled from California, Florida, Baltimore, Michigan, Midwest to get to these camps, and you don't even give them a chance, and you blow people off. Because we saw that a couple of times. It didn't happen to us, but we saw that. And I don't think that coaches get that, you know, is that you may not have known that kid existed. You may be missing out on the gym. We actually were at a camp in Arkansas where there was a kid that literally ruled every 4- and 5-star DB in the world at that camp. When I tell you that kid was the bomb, but no one knew who he was.
Now, I was just about to ask you, would you so happen to have his name?
Can you just make sure he come to Baton Rouge with your son?
He's a 22 kid. He was a 22 kid. Okay, his name is Malachi Brooks, and he was from Texas. But let me tell you, Malachi was the real deal. He ended up going D2. You know, and me and his mom actually we are friends. We became really close after we went to Arkansas last summer together. So I'm going to be watching him, because he's going to wreak havoc down there in D2, because he was definitely under recruited, you know. Wow. But I just say that to say that coaches need to be mindful that they need to be respectful of people's money and time.
Yeah.
And Miss Nikki, if I could ask a quick question, and you don't have to answer this, but I do think high school college recruiting has changed so much over the last year or two. Now we know your son Jeremiah; he's been getting recruited for a long time. Have you guys noticed a change with the NIL and all this other?
It's funny you asked that question because when I was looking at the questions you all sent and I was sharing them with Larissa a little while ago, one of the things that I wanted to share with y'all, LSU's only school didn't talk to us about NIL.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nice.
Very interesting.
And let me give my mindset. I'm all for people making money off of what they are, because I'm, like I said, DTR UCLA is doing a great job of what so I'm following his blueprint and seeing how this works. But I'm also, one of the things that Brian Kelly said that I thought was really important when he met with us is that you got to have some sense of control in your locker room when it comes to NIL. Is that I have to start out with everybody getting the same amount. And then your play will determine where your altitude can go to the next level.
I like it.
And when you do that, you don't have any problems in your locker room because your players determine what your pay can be. And that was key to me, is that, because that's going to be an issue maybe somewhere down the road in some places when it comes to NIL. And when you were asking me about how has NIL changed, we have a son that's a couple of years older than Jeremiah, definitely has changed. And we see the landscape of how it has changed. But, a lot of schools are preparing for it, and have some things in place. But LSU didn't talk to us about it. And in all honesty, it's important to Jeremiah, but that wasn't a determining factor for us.
Yeah.
If you handle your business, NIL is going to come. If you handle your business, NFL is going to come.
Yeah.
So that, I'll be honest, that was, to answer your question, that wasn't a determining factor for us.
Gotcha.
I mean, do you really need to talk NIL when you got them good oysters though? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you that food was, out of all the trips, the food on that trip, I was like, that was free.
I can already see it now. Jeremiah gonna have an NIL deal with an oyster house down south somewhere.
I know who's gonna take advantage of it. It won't be Jeremiah.
Is it Acme? Is that the name of the place?
Yeah.
Let's work on Acme because I really enjoyed the grilled and the fried oysters there.
Yes. Let me ask you this though. What was one of the things that surprised you the most that you didn't expect about, LSU or Baton Rouge as a whole whenever you got to campus?
I got you, huh? No, I wasn't surprised about it. It wasn't no surprise. They was everything that I thought they was gonna be, and some extra. I wasn't surprised because I didn't have I wasn't anticipating nothing special. I knew I was coming to see. I know it's football. I know it's SEC. And I've been following SEC for a while. I pretty well knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Now, if I can too, because are you guys, and of course, with you guys being on the West Coast, are y'all paying any? And this is not a LSU question, but are y'all paying any attention to the Pac-12? And did some of that come into making your decision also with the changes of USC? Yeah, USC, UCLA.
Or are you talking about the fact that they're going to be moving to the Big Ten?
Yes.
In all honesty, Utah, Washington, and Washington State, and Colorado. Colorado was actually the first that offered Jeremiah. And I'll be honest with you, we love Colorado. Colorado, that's a that's a great staff that they have there. It just is cold. It's just cold there. You know? But that was a great visit. We took an unofficial to Colorado. He definitely thought about it. You know, I'm not gonna say it didn't. The Pac-12 is amazing. We pretty much have been to every school in the Pac-12 except for Cal and Stanford. I'll be honest. There's only 2 we didn't visit. You know, but I think Jeremiah knew that the big stage was SEC. You know, and I think he knew that the SEC would get him to the next level. But Washington stepped in there when they had those three DBs that got drafted this year. You know, one of them, which is Radley, went to Gorman before he went to IMG and then went on to Oklahoma. So he had been following Radley a little bit. So I don't think that they weren't on the table. I think it you know, if they had maybe recruited a little lot harder, or as I said, relationship. Remember, I just talked to you about relationship. You know, I just think Steeples was, if he had to choose, Steeples laid it out there. You know, and a lot of people, you know, always say, well, it's because Nico, it was already, you know, no, it wasn't. It played a part. I'm not going to tell you it didn't. But yeah, I think either one would have been fine.
Let me. Oh, go ahead, boo.
No. I was going to ask because I know we've talked and you've been very active in Twitter space and stuff. How has fans received you and your family, especially after the commitment and stuff?
Fans from LSU.
Fans from LSU and other schools.
Other schools also.
I'll be honest with you, because I'm one of those type of people that I like to keep the peace. You know, as you notice, even in Renzo's not really that active on Twitter. He sees what I post, but he's not really active. So most of the stuff, as you see, I shouted out everybody. You know, when I made my post, you know, but I feel like everybody has been great to us. LSU. Washington, no one's like deleted, just stopped following Jeremiah because he went to LSU, you know, because he's not really a big social media head anyway. He's not talking trash about anybody. He's being, we're respecting the process, you know, and I think if you respect the process, people will respect you back. I mean, let's use Arkansas. I was born in Arkansas. Lorenzo was born in Arkansas. Jeremiah was born in Arkansas. I'm going to the Arkansas game when they play BYU. That's we from Arkansas. How can you not steal? I mean, of course, when we come to LSU, we got to change that. But that's home for us, you know. And so, how am I going to be mean and not only that? But I'll use it because I think it probably came down to those two in particular, because everyone thought he would come home. When, like I mentioned, those writers were great to Jeremiah. You know, and still have been great to Jeremiah. So I can't say we got any flack, but I think it's because we respected the process. You know, we were respectful to people. And I told Jeremiah, you don't know where these coaches are going to be, you know, and you don't know who's going to be in different places, you know. So be respectful of people and people's time when they're recruiting you. And I think that's why we haven't had that issue.
Right. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I wish we could stay on talk with y'all all night.
Yeah.
I promise. I've got I guess 2 more questions. If you could take all the business you guys went on, and just take bits and pieces and build like this Frankenstein of a perfect visit, what would it look like?
Ooh. Okay.
I would say from Arkansas, the testimonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Testimonies were real. Yeah. Testimony.
LSU.
The oysters.
Food. Washington, how they administration stepped up and taught us and opened and got us aware of what we need to be listening for. They was the first school, so they like prepared us, you know. And then what is something else?
Let me add what he said about Washington. Washington was the first school that talked to us about NIL because it was our first visit. And the lady that was up there named Amber. She's an attorney that they brought in from Atlanta. I have to give her props because she knew her stuff.
Yeah.
And when I say she laid it out, and she had a plan together for athletes. They how they combine, and even Arkansas had the same thing where they talked about combining with the business department to help students learn about financial literacy in regards to NIL. And so those are things that I thought were really important. But I have to give Washington props there because they set the tone for that. It really was probably one of the best NIL presentations that I had seen from the beginning. We talked about that when we left. Personality, when you talk about, remember I said about personalization.
He said like taking a little bit from everybody.
Well, personalization would be one for me.
From who? From who?
From LSU.
From LSU.
LSU personalization.
Yeah. And their nutrients, the nutrients program.
Oh yeah.
And the strength building. It's putting all that together. You got to have that. You got to have nutrients. You got to have strength building. You got to have testimonies from your players, and administration. That's 4 things I would like to see on every visit.
And when you're talking about the medical part, that was key for us because when we came to visit Jeremiah, when we brought Jeremiah the first time, Jeremiah had just had surgery like maybe 2 weeks ago. And you want to say hey? Come on out. Y'all got a visitor.
Hey, shout out.
Hey, what's going on with you, bro?
Congratulations.
When we first came to LSU in April, Jeremiah had just had his surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a chance to meet the medical staff, and and he asked, he asked Jeremiah what had happened, and he looked and he asked Jeremiah a couple questions and was talking to us, and he was like, "Well, what did they do?" And so Jeremiah had the total. They did the total meniscus repair on his knee, and the doctor looked at him and was like, "Oh, I can't even tell you had surgery," because he was just, he was telling us, he gave us some recommendations as far as like blood restricting therapy. I mean, literally told us some things to do to get Jeremiah back on the field. Well, Jeremiah is actually back on the field now. He's 6 weeks earlier because of that advice. But let me explain. That advice comes from a doctor that Brian Kelly was able to steal from the New Orleans Saints. You see, so you see how, as I mentioned earlier about putting people in place,
right?
That so Brian Kelly has to be smart. He went to the pros and pulled their guy over to LSU. And when we went to our official visit, we went up to the doctor and was like, "Do you remember him?" He was like, "Yes, I remember." He couldn't believe when he looked at Jeremiah, and I was like, "It's because of the advice you gave us."
Yeah,
when we were there, So it's like, so when you talk about the complete package,
right,
I have to add that doctor in there,
right,
because he, you could go on a visit and somebody be like, "That's damaged goods. Don't even fool with that."
Yeah.
He looked at Jeremiah, I was like, "Yeah, you had a great doctor, and here's some things, I would, look into this type of therapy." Came back and it worked. So hey, you can't beat that.
Yeah, love it.
All right. Again, like I said, we could talk to y'all all night. And we might just end the show after this. But I will say, for the UAPB and both of y'all, we're going to SWAT Media Day this week. I'll give y'all, what questions should we ask of UAPB?
Oh Lord, look, this wasn't a question. You might not need to record, dog. This way.
Hey, just DM it to us.
Yeah, just DM it.
I got mad love for UAPB. One of Bishop Gorman's players is Jordan Mack. He's a 2019 graduate of Bishop Gorman. He's a lineman. He started there since he was a freshman. And having offensive linemen, as you know, Taron Armstead came from UAPB and played and came from the Saints. They're known for putting some great offensive linemen and tackles out there. So definitely I would definitely touch on, as you guys see, I'm a football fanatic, so you see I know a little bit. So definitely I would talk about, the offensive tackles, how are you going to build on that? The other thing I would probably ask too is, as we're moving, as you see Dion and Hugh Jackson up there in Grambling, how are they going to stay competitive? As an alumni, this is the question we as alumni are having, is how are we going to stay competitive when you're talking about Dion bringing in millions of dollars and people are donating there? Hugh Jackson is going to bring some money there. And you got Cedric Thornton, who's the defensive coordinator at Grambling, who came from Alcorn, who built those great Alcorn defenses. I'm going to throw this out there to you in case he's at the media day. His wife is the women's basketball coach at UAPB. So just in case y'all didn't.
Wow.
But Coach Thornton, if you remember all those great Alcorn defenses, there's going to start being some money that is going to be brought into Grambling. So how is UAPB going to be competitive? And that's a question really that you guys could ask any other program, because really that is going to be the thing, is how are we going to stay competitive? And then the third question I would ask, which is that has come up as of yesterday after Dion made the statement, is how will the SWAC stay relevant if schools start bouncing to FBS?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hey, somebody wants to know if you can coach their nephew's football team.
Pee Wee team.
My middle son was down here because he coached a little league team, a 14U team this year, and the first game he got sick, he got dehydrated, and literally he was the offensive coordinator, and I called the offensive plays for him. I've been in this game. Jordan has been playing football, Jeremiah's brother, since he was 4. We've been, and Jeremiah's 20. We've been playing football. We've been in football 17, 18 years. So yes, I could coach.
Look, I got one question for you.
I got one more for you. Yeah.
We know what Jeremiah attends Bishop Gorman. We know that they're a powerhouse out there in Vegas. So let me ask you this: what's the expectations for this season for Jeremiah and his team?
Natty, straight up.
Ooh,
nothing else, nothing less, huh?
Yeah, you must have looked at our schedule.
I like
it. Go look at our schedule. We play Matter Day second game. Ooh, they've been number one the last 2 years.
That's on ESPN. I'm assuming.
I believe it's on ESPN.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, okay. I'm checking that out for sure.
Go look at our first 5 games. We letting you know we coming for business. In fact, the quarterback that just committed to Alabama, we're playing him, I believe, the 3rd or 4th game.
Okay.
It's week 5, Jeremiah. He said week 5. Week 5, we'll be playing the quarterback that just committed to Alabama. So
go ahead and let him know what he got. Yeah, go ahead and let him know what he got to look forward to for the next 3 or 4 years.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we want nothing. I mean, this team is stacked. If you look at this team and look at our roster, you just saw Zachariah Bresh just showed out up there with Womack at the Under Armour camp this week. So we ready.
Yeah,
I love it. Hey, y'all playing Bo Nix and I watched Bo Nix and Cordell Flott go at each other in high school, like a championship game. And from that game, I don't remember Bo Nix ever throwing near Cordell Flott in college. So I'm just saying.
Well, and let me ask my last question. But I have a little guy. My son is 6. Any pointers that you guys can give us? Us young parents, when it comes to creating excellent athletes, not just excellent athletes, but excellent kids. Any pointers? Yeah, young men.
Well, I know Larissa will probably say keep God first. Pray over him. Because injuries can come. This is the first time we've ever had to deal with an injury with either one of our kids. And. Thank God it came at the right time. It came during 7-on-7 season, and we ready for regular season. So definitely keep them prayed up, and cover them in prayer, because as we know, this sport can be dangerous, and because it's dangerous. On the flip side of that, because as you're talking about your son, you got a lot of parents out here that have their kids do some things that they shouldn't do on the football field, blindside hit. So keep your kid, keep their head on the swivel. So that's why I said keep your kid prayed up. Make sure that you have coaches that are not just about winning, that are about teaching. If you notice when Jeremiah did his commitment video, he made sure to call out his and even his commitment video and even on his commitment announcement, he called out the coaches that were really in his life that are still in his life now, that are like literally he could pick up the phone and call them now and talk to them and just have some conversation with them about this process. And I think that's really important, because if you don't have development there, your kid will never be better. We played, and I'm not going to tell you we didn't play on some super teams. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I think the best development he had was those teams where, because Jeremiah was always one of, if not the best player on the team, one of the better players on the team. He lifted his team up by his play. And I think that is key with your child, is that, teaching them how to be better teammates. And then also teaching your child how to lose. I mean, Jeremiah suffered some bad losses in some national tournament games that literally could be devastating. But literally, how do you fuel that for the next year? How does that make you better? You're gonna have some losses. You're not gonna go 13-0 every year. You're gonna have some, and when you lose, what could you have done? And one of the things my kids will tell you that they hate, and I think I said it in the space, was that I am always dogging them out on the field. I'm always yelling at them, cussing at them sometimes too. Hate to say that, but that's because I want them to only hear my voice. I want them to block out the other noise. And I always would ask them, what did you do wrong? I know they're superstars, but what did you do wrong? Because that's the thing we need to work on. And I think if you teach from that standpoint, they will be fine. And football will make them be great men, young men. Be involved, stay involved. We haven't. I think Lorenzo told me I missed maybe one game in his whole career since he's been playing football. Be involved. Let them make the choices. When they want to play. Let them play when they need a break. Give them a break. I think that's important too. Is that it's not for you. It's for them. So that's some of the best advice I can give you from a parent. From a parent perspective, is that but stay involved. And when something don't seem right, it ain't right.
Dropping gems. She's dropping gems. I hope y'all paying attention, man.
Jeremiah was close to leaving the game in Pee Wee, so he didn't like that Pee Wee football. He'll go out there on kickoff, and after kickoff, he'll run straight to that bench, sit on that bench, and we say, well, go there and tell your coach, let you in the game. My coach told me to sit right here. He told us, my coach said, sit right here. You got to keep, he had to be with somebody who's going to not focus on winning, but have a relationship with him, and and teaching him how to have fun in the game and wanting to play. So
yeah, that's key, because Jeremiah, as he said, after his first year did not want to play football ever again. He was like, I'm through with that. And
he told us, he said, before they started talking about head-to-head comeback, before they started calling helmet, he said, Daddy, they doing helmet to helmet out there. I'm not going back out there.
He was way ahead of the game, but then he met Coach D. And Coach D made him love the game of football. So that's why I'm saying to you as a parent, don't. There's a coach out there for your kid that's going to teach you to love the game. And Coach D was our guy. He made Jeremiah love the game of football, and I think that's important.
Yeah, a lot of kids lose the love for the game, not because of something that they did, but it's for coaches, who've taken that love away from them.
Right.
Yeah, and it's important to listen to your kids. When they telling you some things, listen to them. But I also say this too. Something you asked me a little while ago that I didn't mention that I think is really important too, is that we were of the mindset when our middle son was coming up. Hey, they going to practice. They don't need training. They just go to practice. They're getting it all at the field. Those days are over. People train after football practice,
Right.
and so you can't just expect your kid to get what they need at practice. You're gonna have to pay for that extra.
Right.
Like Jeremiah was training like 6 days a week. Outside of football, and you guys don't understand. Gorman practice is like a protein. So you imagine going
They
in.
he just got off of an injury, and he just passed a conditioning test, not the conditioning camp, but a conditioning test. Those jokers go hard.
Yeah.
Conditioning test. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, when he told his first day back, but that goes into his off season, his physical therapy, his rehab that we had planned for him. We were like, if you come off this injury, you gotta be ready to go right back.
Preparation,
and, we made sure that we put something in place because he trains a game changer. They have everything right there for him, so we were ready. So when he came back the first day, his coach Brown was like, "You passed under the time." They were like,
he wasn't even required.
He wasn't even required. He was like, "You didn't even have to take the test." He was like, "No, I want to take it." We ready.
Love it.
We ready.
I'll say this. Seeing you guys as parents and stuff, and talking with you, I can tell the kind of player we're getting in Jeremiah as a fan.
Quality.
Everything
already a fan.
Yeah, everything that Coach Kelly has mentioned and stuff. You guys have, through your words and stuff, have shown us that Jeremiah embodies that. Thank you for being an inspiration to us. Thank you for your tweets and stuff, talking about your journey. Which that as soon as we saw that, we were like, hey, if we can talk to them, let's get them on the show.
Absolutely.
I truly, and charge my head, not my heart. I did not intend to have y'all on this long, but
look, we were good. We were good. We were like, it's okay.
We truly thank y'all. Y'all have an open invite. Awesome. If y'all want to come in here and tell us more about them oysters, hey, I'm down for it.
What we'll do? Why don't we do this when? We'll try to do it after if we're able to make it to a game. We'll try to do it after we come to the game because we never had the game experience, and that way
I'm down with it. Down for it.
Do y'all have any games in mind that you want to go to this year?
Well, see, this is the holdup. This is not that we don't want to come. The holdup is, like I said, Gorman is a factory. So on Saturdays they normally have Saturday breakfast. Where they go over game film and they eat breakfast together as a team. So if they're doing that this year, that will cut us out from being able to make a game because the travel is any game.
Make no games.
Yeah, so I'm planning on emailing the coach. But the two games that I want to attend, one is definitely Southern because my niece goes to Southern, so I definitely know. And after
that's gonna be sold out.
Yeah. I already said that one's gonna be the one. Yeah. And then the other one, it's gonna hurt y'all feelings, but it's real. I've been an Alabama fan since 1991.
All right, well, it was good to have you on. Everything was going good. No.
Oh, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
But I want to go to that game. Hey,
you know what they say. Nobody's perfect. There's something wrong with everybody. And if that's the only flaw you got, I mean, you ain't doing too bad.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Look, and nobody can say I just a bandwagoner. 1991. Come on now, And you have to understand, loyalty is everything to me. So if I'm a loyal fan, I'm loyal. So that means you're gonna get a loyal LSU fan, and I go all the way in when it comes to our kids. So
I heard that. Well, I hate that you're gonna have to come to LSU and watch your team lose.
It was a nice run while it lasted. So hey, it's time to make that change.
Yeah, tell her. Yeah, that's right. Tell her.
Right. Well, Again, thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all.
Look forward to having y'all on again. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Mr. and Mrs. Hughes, the parents of Jeremiah Hughes. Big round of applause. Woo! Hey,
Great
that
parents.
was
fabulous.
wow. I'm speechless. Like
I don't even know how we can finish the show after that, dog. Like
I'm trying to figure it out. I guess what I'm saying, do a few quick hitters. It was reported that the NFL made $11 billion in revenue in 2021. And if I'm not mistaken, aren't they still considered a nonprofit organization?
That's a good question.
Because that's a lot of people having problems with that. Because Goodell's anyway, we'll tell you that. Flag football looks like it might be coming to the Olympics.
Let's go.
That's interesting right there, though. I want to see some of what some of these other countries can do. You know what I mean? Like you got some athletes in some of these other countries, dog. So
of course you do.
If they could get the the fundamentals and all that down, it could be interesting to see what some of them guys can do.
It could. And you know what? I can tell you this: playing intramural sports in college, you see those soccer players, bro. They quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
know what I'm saying. Yeah. So of course, football in other countries very popular.
I was a flag football intramural All-American. I just want to throw that.
Hey, I still play flag football.
Well, I guess technically All-American, all campus. I guess.
Well, I heard you was trash, boy.
Your barber trash. Nah, how about that?
Hey, my barber.
Shots fired.
Hey. Hey, Sean Payton back in the news again. He mentioned that he wouldn't mind going to Dallas in 2023.
Give us our picks. Run us our picks. That's all I care about.
You know what? I said this a couple months ago. I think it was. How didn't people see this coming?
I mean, I don't really care at this point. Yeah. I mean, you did say this. I said I thought it would go to the Chargers because I think they're a better situation. But either way, at this point, I'm tired of hearing. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm just tired of the whole thing. If you're gonna come back and coach, do it. Just give us our picks, man.
Yeah. It happened during the interview, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. Micah Romero was picked number. Let me see if I can.
24, I think.
Number 24. Congratulations to him. I think that's just a testament to Jay Johnson, his recruiting.
Nice.
All right, in the NBA Summer League, Tari Eason continues to impress.
He in a good situation. Nah,
could he be a star?
I don't know if that's the role for him. I think the role for him is coming off the bench, being that energy guy, that high energy guy, defensive, like kind of do the dirty work type of thing. I think that's the role for him for now.
All right. Yeah. DeAndre Ayton received the largest offer sheet in NBA history by the Pacers. The Suns then matched that, so he is going to be a Phoenix Sun. He cannot be traded until January 5th, and he cannot be traded
January 15th.
I'm sorry, January 15th, and he cannot be traded within a year without his permission. Yep. So kudos to him. All right, last few quick hitters. G.G. Jackson becomes the first North Carolina men's basketball decommit since 2003. It's not so much that who he is or anything like that.
It's where he's going.
Yeah. I'm just the fact that he North Carolina hadn't had somebody decommit since 2003.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild.
But if I'm not mistaken, he's going to South Carolina, and and to decommit from North Carolina to go to South Carolina in basketball just don't seem like something that you see too often.
Yeah. De'Aaron King is set to play in the XFL in 2023. That's good. Channing Stribling, he's a defensive back for the USFL's Philly Stars. He signed with the Washington Commanders. Expect a lot more people to be coming from the USFL.
Speaking of that, the MVP of the USFL, Kevontae Turpin, has a tryout with the Dallas Cowboys. So
there you go. Hey, I'm expecting a lot more of that.
That kid need to be on the roster.
He does. Also, I might be biased. Derek Dillon. Yeah, Derek Dillon needs to be on somebody's roster.
Of course.
And today, not long before the show started, the U17, under 17 USA women's basketball team won the FIBA U17 World Cup. And LSU commit Michaela Williams is a part of that team. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to them. She's coming to LSU already a champion. So,
if I'm not mistaken, they won last year too when she was on the U16 team. So the trophy case filling up before she even get to campus, like you said.
Gotta love it.
All right, fellas. We a little bit later than usual, but let's go ahead and get to it. All right. Who want to go first?
I go first.
All right, let's go with it.
All right. Bernard Pollard Jr. Go ahead, roll that clip, please.
Pollard?
I'm going to call him Pollard.
Okay.
Pause.
Major. Hey, but if I can't say, man, but Bernard is definitely showing us he got some moves. But so Bernard came out this week and he had some things to say about Lamar Jackson. Now, if you know anything about Bernard, he was a safety that played for the Baltimore Ravens. And basically, he's saying that no wide receivers want to play with Lamar Jackson. And Lamar, he didn't take it. He had some things that he fired back with. And all I got to say is, Bernard, if you're going to come after an MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, possibly, you need to come with some facts. Not only with some facts, my man, you cannot have a video like that my man has access to. You just don't do that. It's too much ammunition. But yeah, I'm done, man. I'm done. Please, Bernard.
I will say this though. I think besides that video, his biggest claim to fame is being the guy who hurt Tom Brady. So I mean, like, if that's all you got going for yourself, brother, like, you might want to check.
Pipe down. Yeah. Hey, Pooba is loving. He's loving a new animation.
We done gave the kid the wrong toy to play with, dog.
Hey, y'all just don't know. It's a lot more with him.
I'll go next, Pooh.
All
right. So I'm gonna call out Landry Liddy this week. And actually, I'm not going to call out Landry Liddy. I'm going to call out whoever was the adult in the situation. Pooh, you can drop that graphic whenever you want. Time and time again, we see some adults make some decisions that negatively impact kids. This is another example of that. Some adult on the Calvary Baptist staff decided to inject himself into Landry Liddy's story and inflated his stats to try to make him more deserving of awards like the Gatorade Player of the Year award, which he ended up winning. His actual stats, as you can see, he threw for 3,385 yards and 40 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty impressive if you ask me, but someone on that staff decided to add 862 yards and 13 touchdowns to his numbers. That's like 4 games worth of stats, y'all. And Landry Liddy was awarded the Gatorade Player of the Year over people like Trey Holly, who had over 2,000 yards rushing and over 40 touchdowns, or maybe Eli Holstein, who had over 3,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, plus another 500 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground. My problem isn't with Landry Liddy. He didn't do anything wrong. The kid just wanted to play ball. My problem is with the adults in the situation who allowed this to take place and put a dark cloud over this young man's career before he even got to start playing in college. Shame on everybody who had a part of this. And honestly, I hope this stays with y'all like it might stay with him.
So let me go ahead and throw this up here. I need The Rock, Miss Danny Garcia. I need y'all to come to the front. So my altar call this week goes out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Danny Garcia. The XFL owners held a player showcase at Jackson State University. The Rock, seen here with Miss Garcia and Coach Sanders, see you Thursday, Coach, explained that he wanted to hold the event to highlight players that wouldn't necessarily get an equitable look at making a roster. He even detailed that he wears the number 54 jersey because, as we all know, there are 53 men on the NFL roster, but he was always number 54 on their list. This is just the latest in the trend of major sports organizations highlighting the work that this is just a major trend by major sports organizations to highlight and work with HBCUs in a search for talent. For years, HBCUs were an afterthought when looking for players. Often mislabeled as subpar, HBCU athletes would have to rely on hopes and prayers to even make a practice squad. Somewhere in time, people forgot that schools like Jackson State and Grambling State have more Hall of Famers, NFL Hall of Famers, than some notable PWIs. We say all the time that you can't hide talent. I want to say that is definitely a fact, but you can't ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. Kudos to the XFL for providing the opportunity to those 200 plus young men who might not have an opportunity otherwise. And big kudos to those players that went out there, did their job, and did their thing on the field. Just remember that no stands for next opportunity. When man closes one door, God will open all the windows in the house. Don't let that speed bump be the end of your journey.
Amen. Amen.
Amen, Reverend.
Pause.
I appreciate that benediction. I appreciate that benediction there for us, Brother Poobah.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Beautiful.
Hey, listen, I
Pause.
But I felt that one, man. Like when I saw that and like started hearing the story and listen to the interview that The Rock did, I was like, okay, yeah, it's definitely is bigger than football for a lot of people, and I'm glad that people are starting to see it. Fellas, I don't want to have favorites. That's probably the best interview we've ever done.
Yeah.
Pause.
Oh my gosh.
We need to take this. We need to take the toy away from some people.
Yeah,
we do. No, but that interview was very insightful. A lot of times too, whenever it comes, you always hear from the recruits, you hear from the players. Rarely do you ever get the chance to hear from the actual parents. And it was good to hear. And Miss Nikki, Mr. Hughes, very knowledgeable. So I mean, yeah, it was great speaking with him.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap that up. I didn't mean to do that last pause. All right. But
end the show, bro.
Yeah, we got his. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot, on Instagram at Golden Boot, on YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod, on Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.